a playlist original.
Hey, what's up? It's your host, Torry, and who is ready to be petty? Welcome back to another episode of RTBP. I'm so glad you're here. Today is a super fun episode. I'm joined by Sherry Nguyen, who is an astrologer, a tarot card reader, and a psychic, and we talk about celebrity charts. 5 of our favorite celebrities, 4 of them submitted by you, 1 Kim Kardashian picked by both Sherry and I. And it's a super fun episode and super different from any of the other things we've ever covered on RTBP. So I really hope you enjoy it. I have an exciting announcement to make that this will be the last bonus episode in 4 years, number 27, released on my main feed, because all of that bonus content is coming to you from my very own Patreon, which is going to launch in 2 weeks. I am so excited. It's going to be more consistent bonus content, more deep dives, more continuity from stories and follow-ups that we cover on the main feed. And I don't know, just, more personal, some guests you've seen before, maybe some new guests as well. And I'm just really excited to have a place where, there's like less structure and just more chit chat and all of that. So I really hope that you'll join me on Patreon, and I will leave the link when it's live on all my socials and in the episode show notes. By the time that this episode comes out, we've already recorded some of our Patreon episodes. So I'm really excited to have you hear those and be able to suggest topics and for us to just chit chat more. So you can get all of the details on the different tiers once the Patreon launches. If you have any questions or comments or concerns, DM me and we can chat about it. But I so hope that you will join me over on Patreon. Okay, exciting news, but let's get to today's episode. Here is my conversation with Sherry. I'm back with a very special guest, Sherry Nguyen, an astrologist, a psychic, a big influencer on TikTok at STFU Sherry. Sherry, how are you?
I am good. I'm so excited to be here. I love that you're such a shit talker.
Thank you. Me too. It's so much fun. I know, I feel like I have this debate once a week about like if talking shit is like good or bad. I feel like it's neutral.
Listen, no, because I'm about to say some stuff that I feel like people are going to consider as talking shit.
Mm-hmm.
But I feel like if you say anything that people don't like to hear either about themselves or others, then it's shit talking. But if I'm just telling what is happening, that's not shit talking. I'm just relaying a story.
100%. Yeah.
So,
And everyone just like lumps it up in one category.
yeah.
Yeah. That's so funny. So, can you tell us a little bit about yourself and what you do on TikTok?
Sure. On TikTok, I mainly make a lot of stereotype astrology videos, and a lot of it is for fun. Like, I don't actually, like, that's not what I actually think about a lot of the signs. It's just based on stereotypes. And so a lot of people will comment on my videos and be like, Libras aren't actually like this. I'm like, I know, I'm just playing off the stereotypes. Calm down. And then my lives is where I go to do my readings. I
Mm-hmm.
do tarot, I do mediumship, and I also do past life readings.
Mm-hmm.
Past life readings are my favorite because they're the most fun. Mediumship readings are the heaviest ones. So that
Yeah.
takes a lot more energy.
What is a mediumship reading? I've never heard of that.
Mediumship readings is when you talk to past loved ones.
Oh my goodness, this
So,
is
yes.
wild. So how
Yeah.
did you get into doing these types of readings and astrology and tarot?
Well, tarot actually found me. I am a huge I like reading books. I'm a writer, so I read a lot of books, and I decided randomly one day to go into Barnes and Noble, and they were having a sale that day, and there was this book that literally said how to read tarot, and I'm like, I want to know what the fuck is going on in the universe. So,
Yeah.
and I picked up the book, and the book didn't even have an author or nothing. It was, that's all that it said. And I started reading it. And then, I'm the kind of person where when I get into something, I can't just like, dip my toes in. I just have to like dive in off the board and just, head first. And so it started with that. And then I realized that I was really good at it. I was a banker before this. And when I was at work counting people's money, all I was thinking about was giving people readings. That's all I was
Yeah.
thinking about. And I was like, I think this is what I'm supposed to be doing. And then I quit my job, I started my company, and then I went through this whole like spiritual journey, still going through it. And then I started developing more powers, and then I started doing mediumship readings and past lives, and it's just been a whole journey for me.
That's so incredible. Okay, two things. I feel like it's the perfect time because I feel like so many people are more into astrology nowadays, like especially
Right.
on internet culture. But then
Hmm.
the second thing is I feel like that's a tough like field to work in because I feel like there's a lot of like naysayers.
Yeah. I mean, I listen, girl, I get comments on my lives all the time saying like, you're a scammer, you're a scammer. And like, I used to get like really triggered by them because I was like, no, that's not what I am. That's not what I am. But I understand why now, because it's so popular, which is good and bad because people are more accustomed to it now, so they're not as like, it used to be really really taboo. Right
Yeah.
now like everyone's psychic. I mean, everybody is psychic, but I understand where people are coming from now. Well, especially now that I've had my awakening, like it comes like I understand it more because it's, I think a lot of it before I was reacting with my ego, but now it's just like these people have probably been scammed before, or
Mhm.
they're just speaking from a place of ignorance. So I try not
Mhm.
to be so triggered by it. But
Yeah.
now it's just like I just laugh at them because I'm like, don't you have anything else better to do?
Literally.
Yeah.
You said that you think everyone is psychic. Do you mean that
Hmm.
like everyone kind of has like an intuitive, like a
Yes.
gut feeling or something about?
Yeah. I think that we've all been at a point in our life where we just have a feeling that we shouldn't do something and then we didn't do, and it was like, oh good. Or maybe we had a feeling that we shouldn't do something and we did it anyways, and you're like, I should have listened to my intuition. So and it's really about whether or not you're opened up to it or not. I think that everybody is psychic to an extent, but it's up to you whether or not you want to tap into your powers or not. Because even when I was doing tarot, I was super I was pretty much like anti medium for myself. Like I think it was cool that everybody else did it, but I'm like, girl, I am not going to talk to the dead. That is not for me. And here I am
Yeah,
talking to the dead.
yeah. That's so interesting. Like, I just think it's a fascinating career path also that you were like a banker. That's such a like, straight and narrow job and then going into something like
Mhm.
so creative and yeah, it's really cool.
And that I had no business being at a bank, first of all. I I'm not good with numbers. And I really thought that I could get out of this lifetime without being good at math, but now I'm seeing so many numbers in my readings that I'm like, I was
Yeah.
gonna be able to leave this life without being good with numbers, but I guess I have to be good with numbers. Now I
Yes.
don't regret being at the banking job, nor do I regret going to college, because I think that had I not gone to college to study my business degree, or if I wasn't at my banking job, I would literally have no money management skills.
Mhm.
And I think those really helped me get to where I am today. So even though college really wasn't for me, banking wasn't for me, I think that it all played out for a reason.
Yeah, totally. Oh, I love that. That's so cool. Do you use your like intuition and stuff in your everyday life?
Oh yeah, all the time. There are times when I literally like have to block it out, especially like when I'm at a bar and I am drinking. I don't drink as much as I used to just because I can't. Like I literally cannot. Like if I have a reading at 11 o'clock, I cannot be out until like past midnight drinking because it affects my drinking or my readings the next day.
Yeah.
But like when I'm just out here having fun, I'm not trying to get channeled messages, even though sometimes they come through anyways. But there are ways that I can just like block that stuff off and just have a good time. But there's been times when like it comes like it's usually when someone's like trying to fuck with me.
Mm-hmm.
That usually my guys are like, come on, girl, they're lying, right? Or they're not being honest, right? So
Right. That's useful.
yeah, yeah.
That's so
But then the thing
useful.
is, like, you have gut feelings no matter what. You know what I'm saying? And so
Yeah,
you can't really fully block it off all the time.
that's true. That's so true. That's a good point. Well, today we're going to get into some celeb astrology. I'm so excited because I feel like maybe some of my listeners are like, okay, this is a little bit of like a left turn for you. Because
Right.
usually you're talking about celebrity gossip, but we are going to get into celebrity gossip. We have chosen, or the listeners have chosen, five celebs that we both enjoy as well. And we're going to talk about their big three. We can talk about
Mm-hmm.
what that means, even. And then
Mm-hmm.
their signs characteristics. We're going to talk about how their signs may have influenced their career moves or their relationships, and then talk about any upcoming predictions we have about them. So let's get into it. The first person we wanted to talk about, because we're both big Kardashian girls,
Mm-hmm.
is Kim Kardashian, the one and only.
The one and only.
She was born on October 1st, 1980. So she is a Libra.
Mm-hmm.
And her big three, her sun is Libra, her moon is Pisces, and her rising is Sagittarius. Do you want to talk to the listeners who have maybe never heard of big three or sun,
Mm-hmm.
moon, rising, what that means?
Sure. So when people say that astrology is generic, that's actually not true because if you really knew astrology, you would know that it's actually very specific because you don't just have one sign, you have an entire birth chart. Um, and that is what kind of annoys me about people when they bring up astrology and they're like, oh, it's so generic, it's so generic. I'm like, you're speaking from a place of ignorance because you don't actually know what astrology is. So you have a whole birth chart and every planet represents a different aspect, right? So for example, if we're just talking about big three, you have the sun and the moon and the rising. So your sun is just kind of like your overall personality. Your moon is your emotions, it's your feelings, it's your intuition. It can also be your creative side because the moon does represent creativity. Your rising is who people see you as. It can also be the person that you display yourself as, right? A very common misconception when people say, oh, your rising is who you're at a party. I'm like, not just at a party, just at work, at anywhere, you know. So like for example, like I am a Leo and I'm very Leo, like I get
Mm-hmm.
that. But there's a part of me that is like when people see me, they're like, oh, like she really has her shit together. And that's because I'm a Capricorn rising. And Capricorn is like the sign of traditions and is a sign of stability. And it's about
Mm.
grounding and professionalism, which is why like I have my own company. And it seems like I have my shit together, but like
No, you do. You do. That's so funny.
yeah. So yeah, let's get into her big three.
Yeah.
So she is a Libra sun, a Pisces moon, and a Sagittarius rising. So it's funny because Libra is actually the sign of communication.
Mm-hmm.
But if you look at her chart, she's actually a terrible communicator. And a lot of that, and a lot of that well, here's the thing is like with every sign, you have the high functioning and the low functioning, right?
Yes.
And so there's different aspects of her that are really high functioning. As Libra, for example, Libras are known to be the sign of beauty. Okay. They're ruled by Venus. And so she is quite literally, if you could think of like the most beautiful woman in America, you'd probably say Kim Kardashian, right?
Absolutely.
And so there's a lot of like, and Libras are kind of known to be vain. And so she kind of has a lot of that too. And also Libra also represents justice and she's going into law, right?
Yeah.
But Libra also is the sign of communication. And so you can either be really good at communicating or really bad at communicating. Now, I feel like a lot of her holding back has to do with her moon, which her moon is in Pisces. So homegirl feels everything. Okay.
Yeah.
She feels everything. And the thing here is I'm looking at her full birth chart and her Mercury is actually in Scorpio. So most people, I mean, not most people, a lot of people, their signs are their Mercury signs are usually the same as their sun sign. If not, it's usually the sign after for with her Mercury is actually in Scorpio. So that actually validates as to why her communication isn't as good as it could be because Scorpio is a sign of secrecy, right?
Ah, interesting.
They don't really speak what's on their mind a lot, but Mercury is the planet of communication. So when you have Scorpio in the sign of Mercury, they're not going to be the best with communicating, and it could be because because she feels so much that sometimes it may be hard for her to express entirely how she feels. And it could be that like she's definitely an overthinker, especially with her Mercury being in Scorpio. And looking at her full birth chart now, I understand why she is the way that she is.
But like some of the things you're saying are so true. Like just I feel like she feels so deeply and then
Mm-hmm.
a lot of times she like isn't telling people because
Mm-hmm.
I feel like she feels a lot of pressure in her family to be like the stoic one, and then I feel like
Yeah.
sometimes she doesn't communicate it, and then she like kind of has like a breaking point and like
Mm-hmm.
absolutely like loses it.
I feel like that's what happened with Pete.
Oh,
I really do.
interesting.
Yeah, I really do feel like she and with Kanye too. I think that had she communicated how she feels, things probably would have worked out better. And again, I don't know. I don't even want to touch on her relationship with Kanye because that's like a lot.
Mm-hmm.
But like I feel like things would have worked out better with her and Pete if she communicated more.
Yeah.
Um
Literally,
so
right now, what's flashing in my head, you know, when she was trying on the Marilyn Monroe dress
right.
at Ripley's, and then Pete was wearing like multiple hats stacked on his head, and she was just like,
Mm-hmm.
babe, like, let's take these off for like, just because they're like shooting and you might want to look back on this and like not have 5 hats on your head. And I feel like that's her communicating like really like I don't know like just the way
Mm-hmm.
that she delivered that I feel like is I don't know
Yeah.
it was like
Yeah,
that.
yeah, 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 yeah. But see, her rising being in Sagittarius. So Sagittarius to me is like the sign of freedom. Like,
Mm,
and we'll get into that with Britney Spears in a little bit because she's a Sagittarius. But with her, I feel like you wouldn't expect her to be a Sagittarius rising, but
mm,
because they're a sign of freedom, like she's gonna put out whatever she wants and ain't no one gonna say anything about it. And if you say
true.
something about it, it's gonna make her want to put stuff out more.
That's so true. And that's Kim.
Yeah.
That's been Kim this whole time. Like when people were like, oh, we don't like your nude photos. She's like, okay, I'm going to double down and post like a
Yeah.
million more. And like, I
Yeah.
do kind of sometimes love that about her. Even though,
Yeah.
like, does that mean she also like can't really take criticism or.
So in tarot, the card that represents Pisces is the moon. Um, and so I think that she is able to process criticisms better than most people.
Yeah.
Like I think that she's able to look at something and be like, yeah, you're just saying that because you're jealous.
Yeah.
you know
Yes.
so I actually like I have a lot of respect for her,
Yeah.
and I think that she is a deeper soul than people give her credit for.
Yeah.
And having her moon in Pisces actually shows that, because Pisces is the last sign, so they're literally every single sign combined together. You have to think about that. And so I do think that her going after her law degree and all that stuff, it's not just for show. I actually do think that she genuinely cares about people, and she
Mm-hmm.
is easily triggered with a lot of things because she's a Pisces moon.
Yeah. Yeah, I definitely do think she is deeper than people think. Like even just her connection with memories and like creating memories for her kids and for
Mhm.
her family and stuff. Like I do think she
Mhm.
is like a old soul or whatever.
Yeah.
So her biggest career moves, I wrote down 3. I wrote her sex tape being like kind of one
Mhm.
of her defining moments,
Mhm.
keeping up with the Kardashians, and that like especially at reaching like 20 seasons, etc.
Yeah.
And then her first Vogue cover Do
Is
you
that the one
think,
with Kanye?
yes, the one with
Hmm.
Kanye, do you think that any of her like astrology placements influence some of her business decisions?
Yeah, let me actually look at the other aspects of her chart. Wow. Okay. So her Jupiter is in Virgo, and Jupiter is the sign of like, is the planet of career and success. So she is extremely calculating with how she moves in her career. I'm going to go ahead and just like say that the sex tape, whether she put it out or not, I'm not going to make a comment on that, but whether she put the sex tape out herself or not, she definitely was going to use that to her advantage,
Yep.
you know? And with her Sagittarius being her rising, it's about liberation. And so there's something freeing in that with how, how the whole thing went down.
What about her like foray into, yeah, like the fashion world and Vogue? And I guess
Mhm.
that makes sense with like when you said vanity, like Libras are into vanity.
Yes, so the Kardashians especially, like they are all very accurate to their charts, or their, at least their sun signs, because like for example, like Courtney is an Aries, like she be picking fights, right? Chloe is a Cancer. Like you think of her, you just see her as a mom, even though okay, I mean, tell me if I'm wrong. Like, even though Courtney is known as the mom, like that's her thing all the time. Like, don't you just see Chloe as more of a maternal type?
100%, especially
Yeah.
because she was really okay. Like, I think she took care of Lamar Odom like a mom. And then I think, like, I
Yeah.
think Kendall and Kylie also, they've talked about how she was like their second mom when they were
Yeah.
growing up. So, like, 100%.
Exactly. And that's because of her Cancer.
Yeah.
Like Cancer is the moon, and the moon represents mother, and the sun and Saturn, I guess, represents the father. And so she just carries a lot of that maternal trait. Whether she likes it or not, she's gonna end up raising everybody in her life. She is the
Yep.
mom.
Yep.
She's more of a mom than Chris is.
Yeah, I fully get that. And then Kim's, she's recently single. We know that.
Mhm.
Does anything in her chart point to why she's single or why things didn't work out with past partners? I really feel like she's like, maybe this is doesn't have to do with her chart, but I just feel like her lifestyle and like her fame make it really hard for her to have relationships.
Yeah, well, the thing is like it's funny because she is a relationship girl, right? So
Yes.
her Venus is in Virgo. Every Virgo I've ever known is a relationship person. All right. They're very traditional. They're an earth sign. So she craves this sort of like she has a tendency to play house very
Yes.
early. And
Yes.
that is 100% a Virgo thing. Now, her Mars is in Venus, which means, oh, sorry, her Mars is in Sagittarius, which means if you piss her off enough, like you're gonna cash these hands. And you saw that play down with the whole Courtney and Kim fight.
Yeah, absolutely. That's wild. Yeah, 100% she is totally a relationship girl. Like, that's so
Yeah,
funny. So,
yeah.
do you have any predictions for Kim's next career move or
Hmm.
if she's going to see anybody?
Damn.
Oh my God, I'm literally dying.
Okay. So first things first, I see Kanye kind of continuing to this thing with her and Kanye is not going to end anytime soon. All
Mm
right. I see either him offering something to her. I hope it's a fucking apology because Lord knows she deserves one. Because the
hmm.
Page of Cups can sometimes be an apology too. But Kanye, for all of my tarot readers out there, he's showing up right here as the Emperor in reverse. So the Emperor is like the dad card, but when it's in reverse, it's somebody who's very like domineering and isn't a very good either husband or dad. And I think that he's a good dad. I just don't think he was a very good husband to her.
Yes.
But yeah, the Seven of Pentacles is like it's gonna go on for a while. Now, if you want the real tea, there is someone that she is giving money to or investing into for hush money. And if this comes out, it could ruin like her family. And I don't think it's with her direct family. I think it like not like her kids. I think it has more to do with like her sisters. So,
Interesting.
but I think it's gonna come out. I think this bitch is gonna talk.
I think it's really interesting how you're talking about Kanye. Like, I, for some reason, yeah, I guess they'll be always linked because they have kids, but
Yeah.
like, even how he was designing her Skin by Kim bottles, and like, I feel like he had something to do with her like new Bose headphone
Yeah.
collaboration and stuff. I
Right.
feel like they'll ever, like, forever be intertwined.
Mm-hmm.
And then I could definitely see the Kardashians paying off so many people.
Yeah, but there's one
Person in
person
particular.
in particular that is like trying to like take down the matriarchy as a whole.
Oh
Like,
my God, that's
and
so
because with
fascinating.
the world card here, I do think that it's gonna come out. I have, yeah.
Yeah.
So watch out for that.
Yeah, I do feel like sometimes the Kardashians are like, you know, cats with nine lives. Like, they've had some really bad press, but they always seem to survive. So I don't know. I do feel like it's like waiting for the big earthquake. We're waiting for the big
Exactly.
cancellation or something.
Big booty shake.
Yeah. Exactly. Exactly. Okay. Taylor Swift, she was submitted by Ashley with three Y's, Dear. She was born on December 13th, 1989. Everyone knows that. Her
Mhm.
lucky number's 13, her album
Mhm.
1989. Her big three, her sun is in Sagittarius, her moon is in Cancer, her rising is Scorpio. Did any of these
Mhm.
surprise you?
Honestly, not really, because like with Kim, you know, you wouldn't look at her and think she's a Pisces moon. You wouldn't think her to be so deep, but like, and her moon in Cancer, that's a home placement, right? So what a home placement is, some planets rule more than one sign.
Right.
So with her, Cancer is the only sign that the moon rules. So with her moon being in Cancer, that's a really good placement to have because it means like her intuition and her creativity is always on point. Like if
Yeah.
Taylor Swift feels like somebody's off, they're motherfucking off.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yes.
Um, Now she has the same thing as Kim, where her sun is not in the same place as her Mercury. So her sun is actually in Capricorn, which makes sense because Capricorn is they in tarot, the card that represents Capricorn is the devil. And so it makes sense now. Like if you, because again, Mercury is about communication, right? And so if you
Yes.
hurt her feelings, if you hurt her Cancer moon, her Capricorn is gonna be there to kill you,
Yes.
basically.
Yes.
All right.
Yes.
And her rising definitely does not surprise me because Scorpios again is like it's a very deep soul sign is what I like to call it. So when you look at her, like she has these piercing eyes in every single pictures, and she doesn't smile a lot in her pictures either. But yeah, her being a Scorpio rising doesn't surprise me at all. Neither does her sun or her moon.
Is it like when we talk about Taylor Swift, like I feel like her kind of stereotypical behavior that people will talk about is, yeah, like kind of vengeance in her songs or kind of getting the last word. Is that stereotypical of these placements?
Yeah, I would say so. And also, her Jupiter is in Cancer. So, like I said, Jupiter is a sign of success. And so, her writing her songs about her feelings and emotions, it's no wonder that she's famous for writing songs like sad songs, specifically,
Yeah.
breakup songs specifically.
Yeah. So that's so interesting. Any other characteristics that really, you know, are dictated by her chart that you see about her?
So you know how we keep, and I was talking to Shannon about this, about her Venus being in Aquarius. Most, and I mean most, like 99% of people with their Aquarius in or their Venus in Aquarius are not straight.
Oh.
Okay.
Yeah.
Because here's the thing,
Yes.
Aquarius is literally, they're for the streets, okay? They're a community sign. They're literally the sign of community. And I mean that both literally and figuratively. Like they will actually go out and help the community. Like, with her, it's like her money and like the way that she spends her money, like she donates a lot and she does a lot of like, she stands up for like what is right all the time. But I mean, to her Cancer moon, I feel like, yeah, she does love really hard, but I also feel like because Aquarius is such like a freeing sign, like that's literally what they're known for, is like being free. And so with your Venus being in Aquarius, I'm just like, like how free are you
I
though?
love that. That's so funny. Yeah, I feel like a lot of people look at her chart and they're like, that's not the chart of a straight person.
No, I said that. I said that. That was me.
That's so funny. Yeah, I get
uh,
that. I get that.
yeah.
So her biggest career moves, well, 1989 was her highest selling album. She's won 29 American Music Awards, which is the most ever. Her Miss Americana documentary, like having a documentary about yourself, like definitely I think career highlight.
Yeah.
And she even last night she swept at the VMAs all the categories she was nominated for. She has her 10th studio album coming up. She's got a lot going on.
And another thing that I noticed about her chart is her Chiron is in Cancer. So again, we know what Cancer, we know how Cancers can be, how emotional they can be. So the Chiron is the wounded healer. Okay. So your Chiron is basically like the biggest lesson you have to learn in this lifetime. So her Chiron being in Cancer, I get why she needs to be less petty. Okay. No pun intended. But like with how vulnerable she gets and how she's so willing to attack people when something doesn't go her way, and just not letting her let shit go. I think she's finally learning that now with Joe. And I honestly think, like, in a way, like he's kind of her saving grace.
I love that. And like that is
Mhm.
so her. That's such a good point.
Like if you notice, like ever since she started dating Joe, you haven't really heard her being petty.
Yeah, that's so true. Well, and
Yeah.
she talks about in some of her lyrics that I'm assuming are about Joe is just like how, like, I think it might be on Folklore where she talks about like how she thinks he has really like good morals and she wants to be that for him as well and stuff. So that all makes
Right.
sense. Yeah.
I mean, can I be frank though?
Yeah.
I think this may be the first guy she's dated who's had a bigger dick than her.
Really? Do you think that's
Mhm.
because he's like so elusive?
I just think he doesn't put up with bullshit.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
I think that he's that way with both men and women. I don't think it's like his way of like bringing her down as a
Yeah.
woman, or like trying to, like, I literally just think he's a no bullshit type of person. And
Yeah.
I think that she, in a sense, is very scared of fucking this relationship up.
Yeah. And I think she likes that too. Like, I think she likes, like having someone that's elusive and like, I don't know. I think of Mirrorball, the song Mirrorball, how she's, or like, this is me trying, just like talking about how she's always trying really hard. I feel like that's
Mhm.
their dynamic for sure.
Yeah.
So you're saying, yeah, a lot of her, yeah, big career moves are like what she's built her career on, writing these songs are dictated by her chart.
Mhm.
What about like her future with Joe? Joe's a Pisces. Do Pisces and Sages get along?
Well, I would have to look at their whole birth chart to
Mm-hmm.
actually know. But if we're just basing off of their sun sign, Sag and Pisces, that's water and fire. So like immediately it's a red flag, but you can't really tell based off of just that.
Yeah.
Um, but if we're just talking about their sun signs, I think in a way like she's kind of like the freedom that he needs. Whereas like
Mm.
he kind of holds her down a little bit. I think that with Sash, like, because they need freedom in their life, and they need, like, take a shot for every time I say freedom. Um, but they need that freeing energy. And I think that they have a good way of balancing each other out. Just look at their relationship from I mean, I don't really keep up with their relationship in particular, but I do think that there's a part of her that helps him get out of his like very structured ways.
Yeah. Oh, I love that. I love that. So they kind of maybe balance out each other in that
Yeah,
way.
but it
That's
can also
cool.
get really messy with those. I mean, because those two are very two intense signs.
Yeah, 100%. And again, like you said, I feel like they are very intense. Like they expect a lot of each other. And I think that's good. I think that's
Yeah.
good. Okay, let's talk about our predictions for Taylor Swift.
Immediately, I'm getting the Ten of Cups, which is the family card. So,
Oh my gosh.
ow.
I could see that. I could totally see that.
Me too. Okay. So I don't know how much you know about her, but there's two family cards here. Well, one of them has to more to do with like because the Ten of Pentacles, yeah, it has to do with family, but it has more to do with money and success. I feel like there may be some hesitation around starting a family, but it has more to do with either money or fame. And so I could kind of the way that I'm reading this is like maybe being fearful of bringing kids into this world because they're going to be exposed to fame, or because I'm seeing here like a want to start a family, but there's some hesitations around bringing kids in.
Yeah.
And I think that that's a conversation that her and Joe actually needs to seriously have, like, sit down and talk about, because there's a lot of like internal scares that I don't think the thing is, like, I see her being very protective, but I don't know if it's necessarily, if it's protective over their relationship or if it's protective over like the kids that she doesn't have yet.
Yeah.
There's some weird thing about starting a family but also having kids, and it has a lot to do with like fame and the spotlight. But the Hierophant is like the Hierophant is about traditions, and so marriage definitely falls into that category. But now we have the star in reverse, which means like there isn't a lot of hope there. And
Mm.
so I feel like there's a lot of fears with, I don't know if it's her or if it's him, surrounding around like having kids. And like, I guess this is like looking at like the dark side of fame. It's like you have to think about what you bring into the world. And I think with her, I feel like if and when she gets married, I think that she just wants it to be that. And I think a part of her doesn't want to be embarrassed of having like a failed marriage or a failed family. Like, she wants this to be happily ever after. And I think a part of her fears that it's not going to be happily ever after. It's actually kind of a sad reading.
Oh, that's so sad.
Yeah.
And all of what you're saying kind of resonates because she has a song on Folklore called Peace that talks
Mm-hmm.
about like I can never give you peace because of
Mm-hmm.
my lifestyle and my career path and choices and stuff like that.
Right.
So, yeah, that is really sad. And I think that's something she thinks about a lot because she's also in this echelon of fame that's the top, just like Kim
Right.
Kardashian. Like they are, those once in a lifetime types of celebs where it could be really scary to bring kids into this world.
It makes me so sad for her. This
Yeah.
reading, like, just because I'm not like a Taylor Swift stan. I'm definitely like a low key fan, so I don't
Yes.
keep up with her that much. But this reading makes her, it makes me see like the human in her,
Yes.
and it actually,
Yes.
she's a lot more thoughtful, and she's someone who thinks more in advance than you think she does. Which I feel like she already comes off that way,
Yeah.
but like she thinks about everything.
Like that. Yeah. Yeah.
Mhm.
I agree with that 100%. Oh, Taylor.
Oh, Tay Tay,
Yeah.
T Swizzle.
Yeah.
I'm scared of her. I'm scared of
Yeah,
her. So I don't
yeah,
want
yeah. We're like nothing. Yeah, rainbows and butterflies are in your future, Taylor. Don't worry.
yeah.
Yeah, I do have a slight fear of her too, like for
Yeah. I'm
sure.
like, what if she writes a song about me?
Yeah.
You're a stupid psychic.
Yeah. Oh my god, that's so funny. Okay, the next person kind of I feel like a little bit random, but I love it. Submitted by Lily at Lily C. Hazel and Hathaway, born on November 12th, 1982. Anne's big three, her sun is Scorpio, her moon is Libra, and her rising is Sagittarius.
So this is actually, she's my favorite actress.
Oh my god,
Period.
I love that.
Mhm.
She is,
Yeah.
I feel like, really underrated. Like, I feel like,
Absolutely.
yeah, nowadays she doesn't get the credit she deserves.
What movie made you fall in love with her?
Princess Diaries.
Yeah.
Yeah, like I
Me,
was original days.
for me, it was Ella Enchanted. Remember
Oh
that
my
one?
god, I love Ella Enchanted.
Yeah.
She's
Oh, I
so
saw Princess.
talented.
She is because I saw Princess Diaries before, but I obviously like Stan loved that movie.
Yeah.
But it was Ella Enchanted that did it for me.
Same. And then I feel like when I saw The Devil Wears Prada, I was like, oh, she's versatile. Like
Yes.
she's really versatile.
I need to watch Limerence. I think wasn't she in
Mm-hmm.
that?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. I want to watch that because I want to see her sing. I don't think I've ever heard her sing.
Yeah, well, she sings in Ella Enchanted, but I think it's like one song.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, yeah, but this is
Hmm.
like, like
Hmm.
full out, like everything.
Yeah.
So I think she
Yeah.
has some upcoming projects. So yeah, I
Okay.
love her. I've always loved
Hmm.
her.
That's funny. Okay, that's really weird that she's a Libra moon. Well, Libra moons are known to be very beautiful anyways. And you know who else is a Libra moon? Ariana Grande.
Oh,
Don't you think
interesting.
they kind of like have similar, maybe they don't look exactly alike, but there's something about them that resemble each other. Maybe it's like the dark hair and the dark
Yeah.
eyes,
Yeah,
but
like really big doe eyes kind of.
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
That's so funny.
But I'm actually quite surprised that she's a Scorpio sun. I didn't know that about her. I mean, she's my favorite actress, but I don't like keep up with her. I just watch her movies. Like I'll pretty
Yeah.
much watch anything that she's in.
Yeah.
What you up to, girl? So her Mercury is in Scorpio as well. So I feel like she is way more than what meets the eye. But the thing is, I can guarantee you she notices everything around her and she's very, very, very like it's important to her how people perceive her.
Yes.
And it's funny because I think that even though her and Kim Kardashian, they both have the same ascendant, they come off very differently.
Mm-hmm.
But that's mainly because of Anne's son and Mercury. Like Scorpio, she's a lot more like reserved, whereas Kim is a Libra sun. So she's very out there with the way that she expresses herself. So, when you look at her, you can kind of get this sense of freedom, but it's also like you don't know everything.
Yeah.
And I like that about her. Her Venus is in Scorpio, so do not break this girl's heart. Okay, because not only is her Venus in Scorpio, but her Mars is also in Capricorn. She is not one to fuck with. And I feel like she is if your Mars is in Capricorn, I feel like you will wait a while. And with all of her Venus, with all of her Scorpio placements, girl, let me tell you something. She will wait a long time to get revenge. And that's on that.
I kind of see that though. Like she was like weirdly canceled for like no reason a few years ago. She didn't try to do any like major PR or like change the narrative. I think she just did her own thing. And now she's had such a like comeback in 2022. So I
Yeah.
can see that.
Yeah. I'm kind of here for it.
Me too. Her biggest box office successes were The Princess Diaries, The Devil
Mhm.
Wears Prada, and then The Dark Knight Rises. She played
Oh my gosh, she
Catwoman.
looks so hot in that movie. I was like, ma'am,
Yeah,
ma'am.
I know. It shook me to my core. Does that like kind of
Mhm.
make sense for her chart placements? I feel like it's like a lot of, I don't know, just like big successes.
Yeah, I mean, her chart shows that she's very versatile. Like you can kind of throw anything at her. I mean, listen, she's a talent in general.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so her Jupiter is in Scorpio too. She has a lot of Scorpio placement. This girl is like a walking Scorpio. I I can guarantee you she's psychic. I guarantee you she's psychic and she probably follows her intuition a lot more. Like I can kind of see her being the kind of person where maybe her manager was like, "No, don't do Princess Diaries." And she's like, "No, I'm going to do Princess Diaries because I feel like it's the right thing to do." I can totally see her being like that. And she's a bit of a rebel too. I love that
Yes.
for her.
Yeah, I see that too. Yeah, because I
Mhm.
feel like, especially with the Catwoman role, I feel like a lot of people were like, okay, this is a little bit like out of left field.
Yeah.
But she must have known that it was going to be like The Dark Knight Rises was going to be a huge success.
Yeah. I feel like she's psychic. I really do. With all of the Scorpio in her chart, there's no way she's not.
That's fascinating.
So, Anne Hathaway, if you're reading this, would you do a reading for me?
Yeah, yeah, like literally. I wonder if she dabbles in her free time or if she just uses that intuitive like nature to
I hope she does. It'd be
navigate
such a waste.
Hollywood. Yeah.
Yeah, it'd be such a waste if
Yeah.
she didn't.
So she's married to Adam Schulman. He's also in the business. He's in Aries. Is it a happily ever after for Adam and Anne?
Is it just me or he kind of looks like Ryan Reynolds?
Yeah, he does have very much Ryan or like John Krasinski, like kind of very like
yeah. I feel like he looks like the older version of Ryan Reynolds. I'm like a little bit mind fucked right now. So, if we're just looking at their sun signs, Scorpio, so that's another like Scorpio and Aries, so that's another water and fire. But I have this. There's two signs that I like have fantasies with Scorpios about, which are Aries and Sagittarius. And this is because both Scorpio and Aries are so stubborn in different ways that I see this like a lover or enemies to lovers trope, and I'm just so here for it.
I love that. I love that because I do feel like Anne is like not uptight, but like very again not calculated, but just very kind of like organized and like on this
structured.
So I would love a steamy enemies to lovers situation.
But I just love signs that are like kind of opposite from each other. Maybe I just like chaos. I don't know what's wrong with me. But I just feel like he is more like, she's more like, I don't know if I should jump, and he's like, let's just jump, and then they jump.
And I feel like with all these celebs, them having opposites makes sense because I think they love chaos and drama too, obviously. So that makes sense.
Absolutely.
To me.
Yeah.
Okay, what are our predictions for Miss Hathaway?
Is she married to him or is she?
I think that they're married. Yeah.
Okay. Wow. We have some tea. Okay. So there's something. I think she has a chance of getting canceled again. All right. And it's something that I'm reading this a couple of different ways. So it's either something that was already brought up into the public that's going to be brought up again, or it's something that she did in her past that's getting brought up now. All right. But the thing about it is, if she doesn't wait and like does what she usually does when it comes to a scandal, she's going to get herself in trouble. If she speaks too soon, she's literally going to end her career. Like, she has to be really careful of how she responds to this, because if she responds to it the wrong way or too soon, or if there's not enough thought behind it, there's going to be, because the judgment card is about the public, and so there's going to be a lot of like negative attention on her, and it's going to make her regret what she said before. So I don't know who her publicist is, but that bitch is going to be working overtime.
Yeah, this is a warning. That's really interesting. I feel like she got canceled for just being like maybe overexposed or like quote unquote annoying. I'd be devastated.
That's literally me. I would be canceled every day if that was the case.
Literally same. But like, I wonder, I'd be devastated if she did something bad and like it hasn't been revealed yet.
I really hope not, because I really like her.
Me too.
And I just like, can we just have one good celebrity, please?
Yes, I say that every day of my life. Like, oh my God.
Let me pull a couple more of these cards because I want to see like what else this could be.
Okay,
I got like really positive cards, so I don't know what this could be about, but I got freedom, abundance, and happiness. So a part of me feels like this could be put out by somebody who's always had it like for her, like always had it out for her. So I feel like if this gets out, it's because someone is putting it out. Like, someone's happily ruining her shit. So I can see it being one of those things where like, oh, like I'll sell a story to make money, but also in the process, like ruin Anne Hathaway's life. And if this bitch succeeds, I would be so sad because I like her. Well, we say that now, but then like once the scandal actually comes out, we're like, oh my gosh, she's a terrible person. I can't like her anymore.
That's me. That's literally me with like Olivia Wilde right now. Oh my God. Oh my God.
All right. Who's next?
Who's next? Rihanna. This was submitted by @always_striving_for_better. And Rihanna was born on February 20th, 1988. Her big three are Pisces, Aries, and Aries.
I love me an Aries moon. Most people are very scared of it because Aries is a very fiery, like in your face sign, and moon is like the sign of emotions. And so when my girl is upset, she is upset. All right. Like you remember, remember back when Karuchi first started dating Chris Brown and she was
Yes.
like calling her, like she tweeted something about her. She was like the rice cake. And I was just like, girl, hello. Hello.
I love when she's unfiltered on Twitter. I miss those days.
I love Twitter Rihanna. Can we bring Twitter Rihanna back?
Honestly. Yeah, that's definitely her for sure. Like I feel like she has
Mhm.
that like fiery passion.
Yeah,
Yeah, she doesn't take any shit.
she doesn't, not at all.
Yeah.
And that also shows up in her rising, which is also Aries. Like she comes off as an Aries 100%.
Yeah.
And I am so here for it.
Yeah.
Let's see. Yep. So her Ew, that was such an ugly laugh. Um
Literally me every episode. I was like, why do you laugh? And like, why do you talk? Why do you breathe? Like...
stop having fun with life. Stop enjoying life. All right. So wow, her Mercury is in Aquarius. No wonder she doesn't have a filter. So I know how I told you earlier that Aquarius is a sign of like freedom and Mercury is the planet of communication. So she is just gonna say whatever the hell is on her mind. She don't give a fuck what anybody else has to say about it. And that's on period.
I love that. Ugh, I love her so much.
No, I literally like worship the ground she walks on.
Yes, me too. So her biggest career moves, Good Girl Gone Bad was her biggest selling record.
That is such an Aries rising title to have.
Truly. It was so iconic. It still is iconic. And then she's had big success with both Fenty Beauty and Savage X Fenty.
Yeah. That actually makes a lot of sense because being an Aries rising, like you are just have to be the center of attention. Like she's gonna be bold with her looks. Like she wears a lot of red.
Yeah.
Which like remember that heart outfit that she wore? Do you remember the one I'm talking about?
No.
The one where she literally looks like a walking purse. Like look up Rihanna heart outfit.
Oh my God, yes.
Is that not the most like Aries rising thing you've ever seen in your life?
That's so funny. This Saint Laurent coat.
Like I could never, but she does it so well.
I know, with the red lip and the black hat and the black bag. Yeah, she looks amazing.
A whole moment.
Truly. Does anything in her chart point to like having a successful music career, but then kind of pivoting to beauty and lingerie?
Let's see. Wow, so her Venus is in Aries. So again, she's more of an Aries than she is a Pisces. I don't care what anybody says. But Venus is the planet of beauty and it's also the planet of love. And so she loves very, very hard. But to answer your question, yes, like I think that her appearance absolutely matters to her, and she is going to bank off of beauty basically because Aries is a sign of drive. It's also the sign of passion, and so it doesn't surprise me that she's passionate about beauty and like making money.
Yeah.
I think that it's also, you can see in her chart that the more you push her to put out an album, she's not going to. How everybody was just like giving her so much shit about Anti, and I'm like, that's why she hasn't put out another album, because that was a big fuck you to everybody. Like I do think that with the rest of her chart, with her Saturn to Pluto, I just feel like right now she's very focused on making money and very focused on providing and literally being a good mother, and that's all that she is focused on right now. Don't ask nothing from her.
Yeah.
But I do feel like maybe having a child in her life will actually inspire her to be more creative and maybe go back to music, but it's going to have to be on her terms. So everybody shut the fuck up
Yes.
about her music, and then she will give us some.
Yes, let her come to us on her own terms. So she is with ASAP Rocky. Like you said, they just had a baby together. He is a Libra. She's a Pisces. Do you think it's smooth sailing for ASAP and Rihanna?
Let me see. I'm looking up his birth chart. Ooh, hold up. We them boys. Okay, so okay, here's the thing. Here's what immediately jumped out is his Venus is in Leo and her Venus is in Aries, right? So they're both of their love planets are fire signs. So I bet you anything, the sex is probably so fucking fire. No wonder he got her pregnant. Girl.
Yeah.
Hello.
I can see that. I feel like their chemistry is like off the charts.
Yes. Another thing is both of their Mars, like when they fight, I feel like that shit actually goes down because both of their Mars are fire. Okay. So I feel like when they fight, I just feel like it can get childish and it can get a little bit petty, but I don't see them to be the kind of people that really broadcast anything to the public.
Yeah.
And I also think that he could improve on his communication, to be honest.
Yeah.
He just needs to be more clear. But the thing with ASAP is I think that he's always going to be there for Rihanna. I think that he's always had a soft spot for Rihanna. I think I'm gonna say this. I think that he may love her more than she loves him. And but in a relationship, you need the man to love the woman more. Anyways,
Yes.
so
Yes. Yeah. Oh, I love that.
that was a huge declaration of me to make, but
No,
I said what I said.
yeah. We're gonna stick by it. Well, that's good.
Yeah.
I'm happy for Rihanna. Do you have any predictions for her? What do the cards say?
Ooh.
The cards jumped out.
There's an X.
I hope it's not. I hope it's not Chris Brown.
Hope it's not Drake.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. I hope it's someone we don't know. Yes.
Yeah. There is an X and I don't know if it's hers or his. There is an X out there that really doesn't even have feelings for her like that anymore, but still sees her as this like just beautiful human being, this like a blessing from the universe, which everybody thinks that of Rihanna, so I'm not surprised. That really wants to fuck this family up.
That's
I
Drake.
don't know why.
That's Drake for sure.
Listen, I ain't saying nothing. But I also feel like between her and him, there needs to be forgiveness about something because there's a very toxic energy here. And the thing is, I don't think it's something that she's going to actually leave him over, but I think it's going to create a lot of chaos if she doesn't learn how to forgive. Okay. Now, there may be some losses when it comes to finances for her soon. So I would really ask her to be a lot more strategic and to, especially with her business, make sure that it's fair when it comes to like maybe paying your workers, right? Not that she's not, but there's something about like I also feel like there may be also someone out there who's like may indirectly go after her family to go after her business. Or yeah, go after her business to indirectly go after her family.
Yeah.
But I do feel like the thing about Rihanna is she's always going to come out on top. Okay. Because the last two cards that I have here are the Nine of Cups and the Wheel of Fortune. The thing about Rihanna is like whoever comes after her is going to get theirs. The thing about Rihanna is whoever goes after her is going to get theirs, whether she gives it to them or not. And I think Rihanna's at a point where she doesn't really take things into her own hands anymore because she's a mother and she's trying to be more mature now. But the spirits have her back. She is washed over all the time.
Yeah. I get that. I really get that. Yeah, so even if she has a little bit of a setback in the long run, she'll come out on top.
Yeah, but I could also see her like being low-key petty and like feed into this exes thing just to like get back at ASAP for something. So I'm like, if she doesn't learn to let this go, it actually can like harm more. And so if she chooses the high road, she'll be fine. And the thing with guys, the thing with like tarot readings and tarot predictions is they're based off of the current energy. Okay.
Mm,
So you still have your own free will. So, I can say all this now, but at the end of the day, it really comes down to the free will and like the decisions that she makes that will determine the ultimate outcome.
okay, I love that. Honestly, there was some, I think, cheating allegations from ASAP Rocky in the spring of this year. So
Yeah. With her designer, her shoe designer.
yeah, so
Yeah.
I don't know, maybe there is a little bit of animosity that she has, that maybe she does want to keep Drake hyping her up to
Yeah.
bother ASAP.
Who knows? But here, I'll tell you what, this person is showing up as the King of Cups in the reverse, and the King of Cups is a water sign, and Drake is a Scorpio. So I'm just gonna leave that there.
My God, that's amazing. Anything else you want to say about Rihanna?
I love you, Queen. I
Oh.
worship you. I'm so here for you. Don't put out new music. Do not.
I know people like want that so bad, but I'm like, wouldn't you want someone also when they put out new music for it to be, from them, not just like a money grabbing thing? Like,
People really don't care. Like you
yeah.
can't you're damn if you do, you're damn if you don't. If you don't put out music, people, nag you for it. If you put out music that isn't what people want, then they say you're cash grabbing. Like
Yeah.
you can't win.
Yeah, that's so true. Yeah. Okay, our final celeb that we're going to talk about is Britney Spears.
Yeah. Yeah. I can't do it as well as she does, but
I can't either. That husky voice gets me
yeah,
every
yeah,
time.
yeah, yeah, yeah.
This was submitted by Leah, friend of the pod from the Ashley and Jessica cast. Brittany was born on December 2nd, 1981. She is a Sagittarius. Her moon is Aquarius and her rising is Libra.
Wow, that actually, I didn't notice her Aquarius before. I didn't know if she was an Aquarius moon. So again, I'm gonna say the word freedom one more
Mm-hmm.
time.
Mm-hmm.
But Sagittarius and Aquarius are quite literally the two signs that represent freedom. And so I just think the conservatorship was especially hard on her because she requires so much freedom. She needs to like that's where she finds her peace. Like if Britney Spears could do anything in the world, she would go backpacking all around the world and perform for everybody for free. If that's what Britney could do, she would totally do that. Obviously she can't, but that's what would actually feed her soul. Is like, honestly, I wouldn't even care if she took the next 5 years off and just like went and traveled the world. I want her to just be to do whatever it is that she wants. Now, she is, let's see, her Venus is in Capricorn. And so again, there's a part of her that's always gonna want that family dynamic. And it's funny because I feel like no matter who she dates in a relationship, she's always gonna kind of wear the pants. And
Yes.
I feel like that's how it is right now with Sam because I know that there's a lot of skepticism around him, but
Yeah.
I truly, truly feel like she wears the pants in that relationship and that people need to take it a little easy on Sam.
Yeah, I definitely agree. And I think that he does really support her and he doesn't mind being the supporter and not the
Yeah.
person wearing the pants in the relationship.
Yeah. And I think like everything he does, people are going to have something to say. Like even when he wanted to be in, I think Step Up or something, or what is it?
Yeah.
What's that movie? Yeah, Step Up.
I
Is
can't
it Step
remember.
Up?
I can't remember if it was Step Up, but yeah, he wanted to be. He
Yeah.
has
And
some
he's like,
like
I don't want
small
to do it.
acting roles. Yes.
Hmm. And then like he apparently he didn't want to audition like for the dancing part. Like he just wants to be the actor. I'm like, he's an actor at the end of the day. Like
Mm-hmm.
you need like if you're gonna date Britney Spears, you better provide. So don't
Yeah.
you guys want him to have a job so that he can provide for her? like right now, like I'm sure a lot of her money is tied up. Like, come on, people. Like at the end of the day, they are entertainers. So
100%. Yeah. Yeah. And that's a good point about being her money being tied up. And I feel like she wants a guy that's like maybe a bit independent and like can stand on his own 2 feet.
right.
So her biggest career moves, obviously her first single Baby One More Time was everything, like one of the
Yeah.
top pop songs of all time.
Mhm.
Her Vegas residency, I feel like that's huge for a star to, all of the top girlies have their Vegas
Mhm.
residencies. And then, of course, her conservatorship ending. How do those, you talked a little bit about the conservatorship, but any other things in her career that maybe are guided by her charts?
I truly, honestly don't feel like just looking at her chart, I don't think that she enjoys the Vegas residency. And this is because I do think that she loves to travel. Like just basing off her chart, I do think that having that Vegas residency actually makes her feel trapped.
Yeah.
Um, and obviously that was the whole point, with the conservatorship, they don't have to keep moving her around. Honestly, like I said before, like if Britney could literally just sit around a campfire with all of her thousands of millions of fans, she would. I don't think that a Vegas residency is good for her soul at all.
Yep.
Based off of her chart, her Mars is in Virgo. Virgos get so petty when it comes to fighting. And
Mm-hmm.
so, you know how she's been like very petty with how she's been like with the way her captions about Jamie Lynn kills me.
It's
Like that
so
is some Virgo
funny.
Mars shit right there.
Yeah, it is so funny. I love that. And I totally agree with you because she releases these clips on her Instagram of like clips of her singing, clips of her dancing. And I think you're right. Like, she's an entertainer at the end of the day, but like, I don't think she was ever like in it for the money or anything. She just
Mhm.
loves dancing, she loves
You can
singing.
clearly tell that she was born to be a performer, and anyone
Yeah.
who is born to be a performer does not work well, one, under pressure, but two, with a lot of restrictions, because
Mm,
performers are like they're supposed to be free, which is ironic because once you enter Hollywood there's so much restrictions,
yeah.
period, not just with her.
Yeah, 100%.
Mhm.
So we talked about Sam a little bit. He is a Pisces. Do you think, like, they recently got married? Do you think this is, Britney's one true love?
I don't know. I'm gonna have to wait to what the cards have to say. But if we're just looking at their sun signs again, why did you choose everything with water versus fire? Like,
Okay,
are
I
you?
know, literally. So I know, and I'm an earth sign. Like, it was just random. I really just picked what people submitted, and I was surprised
Yeah,
at how many common placements that these celebs have, which I guess kind of
yeah,
makes sense because they're all in like they're kind of, they all have, similar groupings
yeah,
and stuff. So
exactly.
all women in pop culture and have fame and stuff. So
Yeah. Well, if we're just looking at Sam's sun sign, okay, I understand the kind of the oil and water dynamic between water and fire, but the thing about Pisces is like Pisces are so willing to learn and Sagittarius are so willing to teach. And so I think again, I do think that she does wear the pants in the relationship. And I think that he learns a lot more from her than we think he does. And I also think that there's a part of him that like looks to her for entertainment or that freeing feeling. And even though she didn't have a lot of that, I feel like she still found a way to inspire him within their relationship.
that's so sweet. Yeah, I could see that. Like, even at their wedding when she was like, barefoot dancing and stuff like that, she does bring that free spirited energy wherever she goes. Okay, what are our predictions for Miss Britney Spears?
This is the one I'm most excited for.
Me too, Princess of Pop.
Brittany!
Uh.
All right. So immediately, the first card that I got was the Empress in reverse. And then I got the Ace of Pentacles and I got the Knight of Swords. So the Empress in reverse is a bad mom, which I don't think that's what she is, but in this specific reading, it's showing like someone's gonna make money off of her being a quote unquote bad mom. All right.
Kevin
Like,
Federline. Oh
all
my
right.
God.
Yeah. And okay, this next part is a little T. Okay. Is okay, because the Two of Swords is my bisexual card and the Fool is my gay card, but the Fool is in reverse. So this is just kind of a side note, okay, because there's a couple ways that I could read this, but literally the first thing that came to my mind was like the Me Against the Music video where her and Madonna like made
Yes.
out. I feel like there may be like a little moment with like another female that
Yeah.
is a little like gay. But
Yeah.
again, I don't know like how bisexual or how like gay she actually is, but I feel like there may be a little bit of that coming soon.
Yeah.
So that's kind of just like a side thing.
Well, I feel like she, again, really free spirited. I feel like even if she doesn't identify as bi or gay, like, I feel like she's like down to try things.
Right.
Yeah.
But really what I'm seeing here is like I feel like she's gonna have to be very strategic with how she responds to this. Now she's gonna think very long and hard, and whatever she puts out is going to be intentional, very, very intentional. But it's also like I have had it, okay?
Mm-hmm.
And this is a new level of I've had it. Like if you think that you have seen her level that her level of I've had it before, this is a whole nother level. I know that her wedding happened kind of fast, but
Yep.
do you know if there was a reason around money to where she had to get married early, like to kind of release her from some of the financial burden? Because right now I'm kind of seeing like Sam getting being in the way of the other side, not Britney. Does that make sense? It's
Oh,
like I
yeah.
see him being kind of like the way out for her almost.
Yeah.
And so I could kind of being one of those, I can see it being one of those things where like, oh, like my husband can sign stuff for me now. Like I don't need somebody else to sign stuff for me. Does that make sense?
Yeah. 100%.
Or like what maybe like whatever money she makes is actually gonna go into Sam's bank account and but then she's still gonna get it. Like
Yeah.
that's kind
So
of
it's
how I'm seeing it.
protected from
Yes.
Kevin and Jamie
Exactly.
Spears. Yeah. 100%.
Exactly.
Yeah. That makes sense. And I feel like part of the showing that she's well is that she's married, like in a stable relationship and stuff. So maybe that's helping or helped her case for the conservatorship ending. I'm not sure, but she
Right.
did talk a lot about how her money, what, like, yeah, she didn't have a credit card or anything like that.
Right.
So I bet he was buying a lot of stuff for her. So maybe, yeah, this is, or like, just like, not for her, like under his name, but for
Mm-hmm.
her.
Yeah.
I could totally see that. She also signed a really airtight prenup with him.
Really.
Yes.
As she should.
As she should. As she should. So that's
Yeah.
good. So that's good.
Yeah.
But I think he's also a big advocate for the conservatorship ending and stuff. So
Yeah,
yeah.
I honestly like I don't feel like I don't get that big of a negative energy from him. I do think that he may be like a little bit like fame and money hungry and in the same sense that any entertainer would be when they haven't had their big break yet.
Yep.
But I do feel like listen, do what you got to do, but like just don't hurt Britney, and that's all we're asking.
Yeah, totally. Okay, this was so much fun. I feel like I learned so much.
This is basically an education course on astrology.
Literally, and like, what a way to do it with celebrities.
Yeah.
I should have asked you at the top of the show, but
Mhm.
I feel like we should share our signs since
Mm.
so the listeners know a little bit more about us as they're listening to this
Yeah. Give me
episode.
your big three so I can drag you.
Yeah, yeah, please. So my sun is Virgo. My birthday's in 2 days. And then my moon is Libra. And then my rising is also Virgo.
Your sun is Virgo, moon is Libra, and Virgo, your rising is Virgo. Oh, so that's why you're so cute with that Libra moon. Ow. Wow, honestly, looking at this makes so much sense as to why you were so particular with how everything went down for this
Yes,
Like, guys, she literally sent me an outline. Everything was like literally like bullet points. She even sent me an email. It's like how to record properly or how like it's like, and I was like, does she have Capricorn or Virgo in her chart? But like, also, is she okay?
Oh my
Can
God.
I ask you a personal question?
Mhm.
Do you like make a lot of bad choices when it comes to lovers?
Um, Depends on who you ask.
Because the Virgo risings I've noticed are like pretty bad at making like good decisions when it comes to like romantic partners. So maybe
Interesting.
you're not the right person to ask. Maybe I need to ask your friends.
Yeah, ask my friends and family. Yeah. Amazing.
Yeah, I just feel like you have your life, or at least it seems like you have your life together. I feel like
Mm,
I feel like, are you pretty type A?
yes.
Yeah, that's definitely like, yeah, that's definitely, that shows in your big three.
Yeah, yeah, for sure. And I feel like mostly have my life together. Like, I'm getting there. I'm working on
Mhm.
it. What are your big three?
I am a Leo sun, a Scorpio moon, and a Capricorn rising. So that's kind of why, like, Capricorn risings are known to have very like high cheekbones and a resting bitch face, and I have both. And then Scorpio moons are usually very psychic. We're also very fucking crazy and obsessive over the stupidest shit. Like I'm that kind of person where like I will get so attached to people, like if I feel like a connection.
Yeah,
But then it doesn't take me much to kind of forget about them either. So
that's good.
it's kind of like, yeah, but I don't get over people very easily. I get over breakups easily, which I feel like are two kind of different things. Like when I'm going through a breakup, I'm like, okay, cool. But like if we haven't actually had a breakup, I'm probably so in love with you. So hey.
I love that. That's amazing. Well, thank you so much for coming on and sharing all of your knowledge and your gifts with us. I so appreciate it.
Thank you for having me.
And where can the RTBP listeners find you and anything else you want to plug?
My TikTok is at SDFU Sherry. My Instagram is Sherry Nguyen, SherryNguyen. If you would like to book a reading with me, my website is sherrystarseed.com. Exactly what it sounds like, sherrystarseed.com. And for all the listeners, I am giving you guys a promo code for 20% off any of my services. And the promo code is petty.
That's iconic. Oh, thank you so much. And thanks again for coming on.
Of course. Thanks for having me.
And there you have it. Thank you so much for listening. And thank you to Sherry for joining me on today's episode. Before we wrap up, I'm recording this on September 13th. This episode is going to air tomorrow, September 14th. And I just want to do a little update about some of the predictions that Sherry got right off the bat. I'm going to put these on my Instagram stories so you all can weigh in and we can check back in a few months to see how we're still doing. But we're off to a roaring start. So we recorded this August 29th, and two things that have happened. On September 5th, Kevin Federline had an interview about Britney Spears basically being a bad mom and saying how their children are not in contact with Britney, and she has released a series of like voice notes saying how disappointed she feels, which is so heartbreaking. And then the other thing that has been going wild this week is Ray J about Kim Kardashian. Kris Jenner was on the James Corden late night show and she did a lie detector test, which brought up once again if her and Kim were behind selling Kim's sex tape or if it was leaked, like stolen and leaked. And Ray J had a PowerPoint, he had a projector, and he was on live talking all about how it was a contract and it was purposely released, that it wasn't a mistake. And he had 3 versions of the sex tape. Also, I talk more about this on the episode that's going to come out on Sunday. So if you want like a full recap, we'll do it there. But he had some pretty clear evidence that kind of leans towards that he's telling the truth, like 3 versions, which kind of alludes to the Kardashian episode earlier this year about how Kanye got the tapes back from him and how they were worried that more stuff would come out, and then contracts and like rating comparisons and all of that. And I kind of have no doubt that Kim Kardashian and Kris Jenner were paying off Ray J, and then maybe they stopped because they now are basically untouchable, or maybe he doesn't care anymore. Maybe he was getting paid off and he's like, yeah, the money's not worth being called like a disgusting fucking creep for leaking my girlfriend's sex tape with me. So interesting. Good job, Sherry. And let's see what else comes true in the next couple months. Thank you again for listening. And I will be sharing more Patreon information next week when that launches. And I hope you'll join me over there. You can follow along with me on social media at RTBP Podcast. And I think that's it. I hope you are safe and healthy out there. As always, I'm your host, Torry, and I am ready to be petty. See you soon. Bye.